PUBG has crossed 100 million downloads. How that happened? PlayerUnknown's Battleground, or PUBG, is a game that currently holds the attention of an entire generation. So much so, that as of today, its stripped-down mobile version, PUBG Mobile, has crossed 100 million downloads on Android and iOS. For those of you who are pretty clueless about this mega-popular game, PUBG is a multiplayer online battle royale game. 100 players are dropped on a map that has a circle on it symboling the safe zone. This circle is constantly shrinking, so players have to make sure to be inside it while also collecting armor and health kits, and killing as many players as possible till they are the last ones standing. This game can be played with up to 4 friends, where you make a squad and proceed together. If you're still unclear about it, remember how the arena in Hunger Games worked? It's something similar, without the controlling overheads, and the actual death of participants. Upon your survival you win the chicken dinner, and up your ranking. But even if you're somebody who's collecting those daily login rewards, and land directly in Pochinki to attack, we bet you don't know PUBG actually came to be. Don't worry, we'll tell you all about it. How was PUBG invented? A few years ago, a military stimulation PC game, called Arma 2, was all the rage. Arma 2 gave extensive support for building your own modifications, modes, into it, building content and creating a new game within it. One such popular mode on the game was called Days, which used hyper-realistic combat mechanics to stimulate a zombie apocalypse. This piqued the curiosity of a player called Brendan Green, who wanted an open-ended gameplay. So Green decided to create his own mode, and named it Arma 2, Battle Royale, based on the eponymous Japanese film. Soon enough, Green's mode became a favorite among players. Now, there are 2 things to know about Green. 1, he wasn't a video game developer but rather an Irish photographer. 2, in the world of online video games, Green's username was PlayerUnknown. The reason why he created his own mode was because he found that the maps were too small and easy to memorize on the modes, and things got way too repetitive. He, on the other hand, wanted the map to be so large that players could launch sneak attacks on other players. In time, Days separated from Arma 2 to become its standalone zombie apocalypse game. And Green began developing his mode for Arma 3. But before he could do that, Sony Online Entertainment, which is now known as Daybreak Game Company, brought him on board to consult on Days, which was now called H1Z1. Around the same time, Jinho Games, a Seoul-based company led by Chang Han Kim, was acquired by Bluehole and was named Bluehole Jinho Games in 2015. Kim was looking for a kick-ass battle royale game that would gain popularity in South Korea. During his time of research, he came across Brendan Green and reached out to him. Fortunately, by this time, Green had quit Sony Entertainment and soon flew to Korea to discuss plans with Bluehole's team. A few weeks later, he became the creative director of Bluehole. Together, Green and Kim began creating the game they wanted in 2016, and moreover, they wanted it to be ready to play within a year. In fact, they wanted the game to be in the customer's hand on early access basis. However, they would keep improving it over time, and to facilitate that they built a solid foundation. With the rapid growth of the game, Bluehole Jinho Games' name was changed to PUBG Corporation. They started off with 1 map, Irngel, and 1 mode, the classic one. They added more weapons after the first version of the game went live in March 2017 on Steam. The players increased every week, and in the first 4 weeks after the game was released, 10 million rounds of the game had already been played. In the first 3 days, PUBG had already made $11 million. And in the month after its release, PUBG had already sold 1 million copies. By October, PUBG had crossed 2 million concurrent players, beating out 0.2 second record. By the time 2 million copies of the game had been sold, Bluehole held a charity tournament for the first time. And 3 months later, a major PUBG tournament was held by Electronic Sports League, ESL, making a place for PUBG's future as an esport. By July, Bluehole had partnered with Facebook for live streams to get more gaming content. And by December, Tencent Games, the biggest publisher of games in China, had approached them to publish the game in China. In December 2017, PUBG was made available on Xbox, with early access. Initially, PUBG faced some flack from the government for being too violent, but it was later resolved when they entered in an agreement with the government. Once that happened, PUBG Corp and Tencent developed two different versions to be released on mobiles. The first was called PUBG Exhilarating Battlefield, which was a shorter version of the original game. This version was developed by Tencent's internal division Lightspeed and Quantum Studio. The second version was dubbed PUBG Army Attack, which consisted of more arcade-style games developed by Tencent's TIMI Games. By February 2018, both these free games were released on Android and iOS in China. And by March, the PUBG Exhilarating Battlefield was released worldwide as PUBG Mobile. And now, merely 5 months and about 7 updates later, PUBG has crossed 100 million downloads. It has become the defining game of the battle royale genre, and a prominent part of pop culture.